Hi everybody, I'm Kostis Protopapas, Artistic Director of Opera Santa Barbara, and today I'm here with the director and the set and lighting designer for our upcoming production of Leos Janacek's The Cunning Little Vixen. We're very excited about this project. It's one of my favorite operas. I think it's definitely one of the most beautiful operas of the 20th century. It's an opera about nature and the circle of life. Very moving, very humorous. It's appealing both to children and adults. It works on many levels, has a lot of allegory, a lot of metaphor, and a lot of meaningful messages that we are here to discuss and how we're going to bring to life with these two incredibly talented people. Crystal Manage is our stage director. Cunning Little Vixen, you're doing it for the first time, right?
Yeah, doing it for the first time. I think that there's a big whimsical element about the show, that you can't really steep it in too much realism because there's passage of time. You see the vixen grow up from being a little girl into an adult, and she's in the human world where she of course doesn't belong, but then when she goes back to the forest, she doesn't belong there either. So it's really about trying to reclaim her identity. And so in this production we've gone a direction where we want to have a very concrete image that roots us in both the human and the animal world, but there's also a whimsical element to that as well. It really gives us a lot of space to be able to show a fairy tale-like atmosphere, but also when we are in the human world to really have those emotions be very clear as to what's happening with those characters.
Crystal, what are some of your favorite bits from this set that Francois Pierre has designed for us?
There are lots of little nooks and crannies where things are going to happen. So we have some windows that can open and people can pop out and sing, or just look out and gossip about the scene that's happening. We also have this fantastic tree in the middle, which I think really is a symbol of literal rooting of these characters in this space. And so that tree will have different functions, but primarily it's Vixen's safe haven inside that tree. We also have elements that come in and out, like a little fence to represent the forester's house where Vixen will be tied up. We have the bar where the forester and his friends hang out, and they have these very existential conversations about their lives.
We wanted from the beginning to bring in some themes of environmental conservation and the very important theme of how humans alter nature, not always in the best way. How do we make this happen? And it's sort of both in a way that gets some messages out, but it's also very humorous. Francois Pierre, what are some of the things that you guys are coming up with to make that happen?
Well, and the accessories and the props that are necessary in the piece will be coming from trash. So the stage will be littered with trash. So it is the idea of the forest also has an old toaster, old cans, and other elements that get recombined and recreated to become an organ, to become a carrying case, a briefcase. And then that the animals are using part of the human world, part of that trash, to recreate their own world, as if they're trying to copy the humans in a very strange way. And it shows how we are affecting the natural world, let's put it this way, and thus with what we're producing. So it creates, it gives us a little bit of attention also on the stage, and hopefully we'll carry that message saying that we are part of the world and we are affecting it in that way.
Yeah, there's a theme of coexistence, I think, between the animals and the humans in this show, and what my goal is to show that maybe we aren't that different from each other.
So here we have the set and the basic setting for Cunning Little Vixen. And you'll notice here the walls and the windows that we have here in the back wall that are printed to look like a forest, and then actual windows that can open and close. And here in the front we have flowers and other fauna that is larger than nature to emphasize the whimsical nature of the piece. And we'll have scene changes throughout the performance. For example, we'll bring in a little fence here and a roof to bring us to the forester's house, and the vixen will be tied to the fence for a specific scene. And later on in the opera we'll have another scene at the bar. We'll have here, this door will open, the windows will actually open and characters will come out of them. So it's a set that has a lot of surprises and a lot of changes.
I think we should close this little video without talking a little bit about our composer, Leos Janacek, who is one of my favorite composers and is one of the greatest composers in opera in the 20th century. Janacek is very interesting because he lived mostly in isolation after having studied in Europe. He lived eastern part of what is now the Czech Republic. He lived in a rather rural area near Brno, and he was sort of not so much in touch with everything that was going on outside the music world. So he's also very influenced by folk song, and is very influenced by the speech patterns. He always made notes, and he tried to write vocal lines that very closely emulated the rhythm and the modulation of spoken speech. In his operas, there's a very element of sincerity. There's a way the characters speak very directly. When he wrote the Cunning Little Vixen, he was older, and he was at the time sort of infatuated with a much younger woman. So that sort of longing and that love for this person, that, you know, it was not a relationship that was ever consummated, but he had a great admiration for this woman, which is evident in his letters to her. This sort of passion comes across in the music for the Cunning Little Vixen, as does existential questioning that comes with, you know, he's getting a little bit older, thinking about the meaning of life, the circle of life, and the end of life.
I'm really interested in exploring, well, what kind of human behaviors can the animals have, and vice versa. Sure, we're going to definitely be doing a very strong suggestion of animals through the costuming, through maybe some headpieces and things like that, but that they behave a little bit more human-like than maybe what they would appear. I think we're definitely steering away from the idea of the Disney cartoon idea where you know, the animals look 100% like animals and they speak like humans. Well, in this production, they look a little human as well, in addition to their speech. So I'm really interested in exploring that with the singers.
So what we're trying to do also is to create different surfaces. For example, the surfaces of the house, of the walls, have a print or a painting of a forest, which gives us three-dimensionality, and the windows and the architectural element.
We believe that this is a story and an opera that operates and is understood on many levels. It's one of those great pieces that adults and children can attend together, and the adults take something out of it and the children take something else out of it. And so we want this to be a family outing. I think there is a bonding experience to parents or grandparents and children experiencing the arts together, and we hope that the families will choose to, you know, come out and see this show and then discuss it, because it's, you know, it's a very humorous show. It's very moving. It's a little sad, but it sort of has it's a little microcosm, a little tender microcosm that reflects life. And for that reason, we have chosen to do the piece in English. We always have subtitles, so when you come to the opera, you can always follow the story by reading the English titles above the stage. But I think doing the piece in English adds another element of immediacy, so that even our youngest attendees can really get the story directly from the lips of the performers.